I think you need a good back end to make everything work, right? So finance, HR, legal, all those things are the foundation of how the company's going to operate, right? And it has tentacles into everything you do. So by supporting them and giving them the right tools, they'll have better productivity, they'll have better turnaround times, they'll be able to execute more, faster, quicker, better. And I think that that's the core to get going, right? So if your corporate headquarters, or not even the headquarters, but the corporate functions are working effectively and efficiently, it kind of cascades to the other business. And I think you wouldn't build a house without a good foundation. So if the corporate is the foundation and the business goes on top of that, if you have a good corporate function, good systems, good people, good efficiency, that's going to drive some of the results on the top end. From a system standpoint, it changes everything, right? So you have to be connected. So if you change something at the top, it's usually what the unintended consequences are as you move down the food chain of all the systems that support it. So data, we have a system called subs. How does subs integrate? How do we get the right integrations? How do we get the right experience for the user at the front end? So how are your APIs developed? How does the programming work? It's all a connective tissue, and I think you have to be conscious of how it all works, because you can't just make a change in the front end and think the back end's going to work. It's how it all connects together. I think in technology it's about what are the outcomes and what's the post-mortem. Did you really get what you intended to do? Is it really working the way you wanted it to work? Are the customers happy? Are the business partners happy? So did the project realize the outcomes you really wanted? And that's a question that is a bit subjective, could have some basis in ROI, but I wouldn't use ROI as the only measurement. I think you need a couple of components to say, what does success look like? Sure, return on investment is big, but you could have a great return and have a bad outcome. I believe that vendors are partners, right? So it's got to be a win-win for the vendor. And I mean, if you look at Capgemini, I've done outsourcing for the last 25 years, and I think it's all about the people, the process, the company, but it's about how you treat the vendor, right? So I think in the relationship we have with Capgemini, it's not about being a vendor, it's about being a partner. And that's the partnership, right? Because they bring in other companies' experiences. They bring in other things from around the world that we may not be ingrained in or see on a day-to-day basis. We are global, but have we really seen how things execute in different businesses? And you can take the best practices from that and maybe add that value into Subway.